Hello and welcome to the Inspired Live Stream. I'm Jean Nolan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us. I really appreciate it. Um, on this beautiful Sunday, and I want to start with something that we've been saying throughout all our live streams for a specific reason. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, we're free. That's the mantra of the Inspired Live Stream. It has been for years now, 3 years, I believe now, and it's something that we hold very close to our hearts. Very important, this kind of repetition that we're in. And I want to welcome everyone on Rumble, on YouTube, in the live chat. I saw Henry or Henri, I don't know exactly, is here. Science evolves one funeral at a time. That's an interesting name. Seen that before. Mick, Truth Serum, English Commoner. Welcome everyone. JJ, The Reality by Joy Rocco or J Rocco. Good to see you. Everyone, thank you for being here. Steve, Borg, Resistance, Joey, Anthony, Scott, welcome to the live stream here. Bonnie's here. Hey, good to see you. Our friend Bonnie, very active in the locals community, an inspired locals community, a very beautiful spirit, dear friend, a true freedom fighter. Thank you, Bonnie, as so many of you. I wanted to come on today and talk about exactly what the title says. And let me take one thing out of the equation. I'm not talking about some doomsday scenario or anything that like pushing fear on anything. I'm talking about a very common sense, logical observation. And if you do that, and if you connect the dots and look at the data, then there's no other conclusion. Um, and actually, in all honesty, it's everything is actually for our benefit, I believe. But nonetheless, it's not a way that people think and look about the world. So I think we ought to do it. When I say the end is near and it's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen, that's what I truly mean. And I want to start with an analogy or an example, perhaps, that if you want to demolish a building, and let's say you look at a big building, right? A skyscraper or any other huge structure that was built solidly and it was built over time, and it has all these safeguards in place, right? Basically, if you plant your explosives, um, on certain floors in certain places, they will cause damage, but they will not bring down the structure, right? So, what do you have to do to bring down the building? You have to go and actually look at the blueprints, look at how it was built, and look at the points that provide the stability for the whole structure. That's where you have to go. You have to get to the pillars that keep it all up, and that's where you plant your explosives, right? And you can have, a fast explosion, right, where you hit all the explosives at once, and that's when the building comes down and it just collapses, in and of itself. What we're seeing and what is happening in our world today is and I will get to what they mean. So many people always say, who are they? Well, they've put explosives now, over time, exactly where those structural pillars are, but they're not pushing them all at once. They're letting one explode, they're letting the other explode, and the other explode, and the other explode. And eventually there is a domino effect. Eventually you hit that one pillar where the rest starts falling in, and there's no saving it, right? And this is what is being done to this system currently. And the interesting thing, and perhaps for the first time in our shared history, the opponent or the enemy or the dark forces, whatever you want to call them, they're doing the exact same thing that we're doing. We're also working on bringing the system down, a system that we have come to learn has, deceived us, lied to us, led us away from who we truly are, and enslaved us, and is poisoning us every day. We've learned this way before 2020. So many of you have known this, felt this all your lives. You felt the falsehood in it all. And so with the work that we all do together and the work that these dark forces are doing, basically we're working at the same thing, bringing this down. However, and this is the crux of it all, they are prepared. They are prepared to bring in a new solution. As a matter of fact, they're already ushering it in. They're prepared to bring in um, a whole new system. Let's see, something just happened here. They're prepared to bring in a whole new system that is supposed to replace this. And they have it all planned out. They have everything in place for it to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen this way. But what I will say is we're coming to the end of this current cycle. We're coming to the end where I believe sooner rather than later that crucial pillar will fall down. And when that happens, you can observe this. You go back, at least in our lived memory. Don't go back too far, but go back to the lived memory and look at previous systems that have collapsed. There were signs and there were little collapses along the way over years. And then all of a sudden, one thing happened and it brought the whole thing down. It's like a domino effect that can't be stopped. And we don't know when that will happen. The truth is, we don't know. We don't know when that piece will fall, but we do know it will fall because we know the intention is there and the actions are there. And I believe we're coming close because once this crucial domino, this crucial pillar falls, it will be like a tsunami that can't be stopped anymore. It will go like a shockwave through the whole system. It's a lot like an economic depression or recession, with the distinct difference that it now doesn't just economically include all levels of our society, but it also morally and spiritually and in a survival way moves everything. And that's what we're seeing. Every aspect of our shared society is being attacked. Every every system, how it was played and how it was set up, and science, medicine, everything is under attack, and everybody knows it. And soon this will begin to happen. And then here's the important part: what we aim to do together is to empower ourselves to be not just ready for a tough transitioning period that we're in some ways already in, but nothing like, what's coming, but actually lead it, actually guide it, actually show already in place structures that will help people jump on board with a beautiful timeline and vision, as opposed to the dystopian AI controlled timeline that this elite that's currently meeting, starting tomorrow, they're meeting in Davos, and they're really driving this thing. A lot of them, I mean, the people that are meeting are driving this thing. But if we provide the alternative, and if we help people now to empower themselves, to find that true authentic voice within them, to find what purpose for them means, to build structures for themselves and their families where they are not just prepared, but they feel like they have a grip on their own lives and they can actually decide their fate, if you will. I think that's the key thing. And that's what I see in so many in this truth and freedom movement. That's their real goal. If when I speak off camera to to David Icke, or when I speak off camera to Max Egan, or when I speak off camera to many others, that's exactly what they want to say. If I wanted fame and fortune and all that, I could have picked a much easier path, but that's not what we're interested in. It's really about, hey, this is coming and this is now inevitable. We all actually wanted this to happen, but we have to envision the alternative. We all know this system wasn't built for our benefit. Yes, we have material wealth like never before, maybe. I think we probably had it before, but nothing like anyone that's alive has ever seen. But at the same time, we have, you know, such a mental health epidemic, and people are suicidal by the hundreds of millions. We have broken relationships. We have broken health on all levels. We have broken health of the earth. So to call this the pinnacle of our human evolution, I think, is cynical. And we've all felt this. I mean, people have felt this way before 2020, way before this massive attack. They felt like they're in a hamster wheel and they can't get out, and it's all about paying bills and forms and taxes and all that. And frankly, it just was never a system built for us. And just this morning, Christina and I went for a walk with our dog, and this 20 years ago would have been a blue sky day, a beautiful deep blue sky day, but we don't have those anymore. We don't ever get 2 3 blue sky days. We don't even get 2 3 blue sky hours anymore because they immediately spray. And it's just one of the many symptoms of the sickness of this society that we live in. And so when I say the end is near, it's not a doomsday scenario. It's not about pushing fear. It's really looking logically and making the calculations and looking at crucial points in the system. Finances, food, medicine, science, they are all at the brink, at the verge of collapsing. And it's on purpose, yes, but nonetheless, it's going to happen. And a lot of people are going to be caught off guard, and a lot of people are going to be in panic. And many of those we can't currently reach. But many of the people that are already on board and already know this is coming and already want to build something new, that's the ones we really want to speak to. Uh, Thank you. The Reality by Joy Rocco. Thank you. Or sorry, Jay Rocco. Thank you so much for your contribution. And so what are these things that people can do? And people always think this is a sales pitch. Yes, naturally, when you are on this journey for such a long time, naturally over time you come up with ways and solutions and suggestions, and you want to help people, and that's part of it. But really, in a more general sense, um, look at your most basic needs in life, at the necessities. That's what we always say. Look at what you really need first and foremost to survive, you and your family, not the luxury, just first of all the necessities. And then ask yourself, how independent am I with these necessities? Can I get them? Am I growing my food? Do I have access to fresh water if it's not through the commercial stores and whatnot? Do I have access to warmth and power? Do I have access to clothes? Or and then there are, of course, many sub categories of this. Do I have access to seeds, land to grow? Do I know people that grow? Farmers markets, all of these. We talk about these things so much because we anticipate a time where you won't be able to go to the grocery store and satisfy your most basic food and water needs. We anticipate a time where these things will only be available to those who sign on to the new system. That's the logical way to look at things. And so that's why this is so important to us. But there's another aspect to this. Oh, Jim, thank you so much for your contribution. It's greatly appreciated. But there's another aspect to this, and that is before we take care of our outer needs, even before that, we need to find that authentic place in ourselves that is not fear, that is not just doing something to prevent something else. Oh, y'all, thank you so much. CCXX, thank you. That's so generous of y'all. Thank you very much. That authentic self does not know fear. It does not know panic because it is connected to your true spirit, the thing that lives on beyond this human body. It's lived before, it's going to live beyond it. And it knows no fear, but it's a perfect guide because it naturally supports life. It is ultimate life, and so it ultimately supports life. So it's going to give you all these intuitions and inspirations and ideas of what you can do and how you can do it, and it's going to be your guiding light. But you need to connect with that part rather than the reptilian brain that the mainstream everything wants you to live in. This reptilian brain that is purely fear, survival, fight or flight driven, right? That's where they want to keep you in because that's where you're controllable. That's where, here's a piece of information, it's going to scare you, here's what we want you to do. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about true authentic self. That is the spirit. And when people live in the spirit, I mean, they're very, very empowered, and they're beyond the programming. They automatically live beyond that programming. Oh, thank you so much, Mehran. I think Miran. I don't know how you pronounce it, but thank you very much for your contribution. And it's beyond that. And what we do on the screen in these videos across the platforms is driven by that desire. For a very long time, Christine has been working one on one and with groups as a counselor, as a coach, and she always does it in a very different way than what you usually see. She has absolutely no tolerance for years and years of just talking therapy. She says, "Listen, what my deepest desire is to empower people, give them the tools, give them the practices, give them the rituals, help them build a toolbox that they can use no matter what. They can empower themselves in a year's time, the tops, depending on how difficult the situation is. In a year times tops, I don't want to see them anymore. I want to send them off their way, and they'll be fine because they'll have the tools. And that's always been our approach together as well. This is not the subscription model where you lay on a couch for years and nothing really improves. No, this is about really leading people to their true authentic selves. And because of what we do and because of how all this is developed, we just can't really do it that much on a one-on-one basis anymore because there's only so many hours in a day. But twice a year, we do a retreat, and it's been as beautiful for us as it is for the people that come there. And that's why I said from the beginning, this is just it's just an offer. People have approached us many times. Here, we're going to build you a great sales funnel. We're going to build you the perfect pitch page. You're going to get great conversions. And I said, thank you, but no, thank you. That's I despise funnels. And if that's what people want to use, well, go. And I don't want to manipulate people into making a decision that's not the best for them. What I want to say is, here's something that we offer, and we offer it from our heart. Yes, there is a cost to it because there's a cost to it for us as well. But if that speaks to people, it's all about inspiration. If that speaks to people, we want to invite them. And so this is what we're going to do now for the I believe fifth time here in this format. It's called the YATO retreat, the You Are the One retreat. And it's happening from March 30th to April 2nd, Cape San Blas, Florida. And we put the link in the description so you can read about it. You see some testimonials, what people have said about it. It is for those who feel like there's something much more inside of them. And it's like they can almost access it, but it's like there's always something, a little blockage or a rock in the road or something is holding them back and they don't really know how to approach this. But they feel there's much more to life. And they also want to get greater clarity for their own journey moving forward, for their most intimate relationships. This is what we do. This is what we do over 3.5 days together. We go deep. I mean, the groups that have shown up so far, and they're small, intimate groups. It's a very small group. We keep it small. We have a very hard limit because of you can only go so deep, with many people. But with a smaller group, you can do it intimately. And how deep it goes is always up to the group that shows up. That's really, that's. But we go deep, and it's always a beautiful quantum leap jump. And so this is going to happen at the end of March, beginning of April, Cape San Blas, Florida. And again, we put the link in the description. It's an invitation. I'm going to post a link here too. It's an invitation to check it out and see if this. Hold on. And there you go. And see if this speaks to you. And if this touches your heart and you say yes, full disclosure. It's just one opportunity, just one way. There are many ways to do it. And chances are you don't need help with that. Chances are you have already access to all the tools, and that is wonderful. But if you feel like you need help with it, we would love to be there for you. Go and walk this path with you. But there are many other opportunities. And this is also something that I want to say clearly and out loud. We just want to see people actually take that step, whether they do it with us or whether they do it with someone else or by themselves. The picture is much greater. And here's why. There's a little bit of a selfish approach to this or selfish intention to this, but not selfish in the egotistical way. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking 30, 40 years into the future, and that's going to be my grandchildren and potentially great grandchildren. And I'm picturing the world they're going to live in. who are they going to be surrounded by? What kind of people will there be? And what will be their, what's their vibration going to be like? How are they going to live with each other and harmoniously live with each other? And can we influence that today? Can we positively influence that today? So yes, there is a selfish intention to this. I'm going to be honest, but we want to see a world that's thriving, because natural abundance, natural beauty, natural everything has been given to us. It's all been given to us. We're not trying to invent something new. We're just trying to reconnect with the authentic, natural way. And it's something deep within us. And only if we really, turn the key on that and allow that to express itself, allow for that to express itself, then that's going to express itself in the world as well. And the world's going to reflect it. And as we're coming to this point where this system is coming down, imagine two scenarios. The first scenario is you're caught off guard. Yes, you've heard it every now and then, but still, it catches you by surprise. And what happens? You go into fight or flight, you go into panic. You lose all your creative energy, all your creative power. You lose all your empowerment. Fight or flight, it literally pulls all the blood from the extremities into the most important survival organs. So it pulls blood from your brain, it pulls blood from everything. Yes, there's still blood left, but the core is just in protection mode. You're not creative in that state. You can't make creative decisions or create great solutions. No, you're just about surviving. That's not a state to live in. Second scenario, shit hits the fan, which it will. Because we're all working on it anyways, but shit hits the fan, and you are already living a life where when you look into the mirror, this is the person that's really running my life. Of course, in connection with God, the creator, no doubt about it. But you are really in charge of it. And when you or your loved ones are hungry, when you and your loved ones need something, you are able to provide it through whatever means, because you've prepared, because you've changed, because you've transformed, because you live in a different way. I love living already in the second scenario. And more importantly, when everyone's going to be in panic, or everyone, a lot of people are going to be in panic. A lot of people are going to look for solutions. You will have an alternative to offer to the system. You will have an alternative, and people will listen to you and they say, how did you know? How come you're calm? How come you don't stress out? And you're just going to say, listen, there's more to this picture. Let me show you. We're building a new future. We're building a different future. We're actually making a future that's really about the human family and our most authentic way of living. And it's actually, for the first time, going to be a really beautiful, peaceful culture. I love the second scenario. And that's what I wanted to share. And as I said, part of our work is also doing this in person with people. So if this speaks to you, again, in the description, you'll find a link to the YATO retreat. Just check it out. Just see if it touches something within you and if you're ready. And this is also something we say, only if you're ready. Because if you're not fully ready, you will not have the true benefits of this experience. And that's really what we want to deliver, the true benefits of this experience. Ultimately, in 3 days' times, we can't change your life. We can change your life, and turn it upside down again, or turn it in the right way. But what we can do is create the energy, the beautiful transformational energy together that you can use to do it. And the stories that we get back after the retreats, now months and years in, they warm our hearts. People are really changing their lives. People are really shifting into much more empowered living. And that's beautiful. So this is what I wanted to share with y'all today. I appreciate you deeply. We really love you all. And we want to thank you for joining us in the Inspired Newsroom, which is a new endeavor. A lot of fun for us to do something a little different format. We want to thank everyone who's a member and supporter in our locals community, where it's completely uncensored. I mean, there are, when I go into the Inspired Newsroom or in the Inspired channel and I talk about a topic, you often know I talk around something because you can't say it on these platforms. I don't do that on locals. It's straight shooting, and I'll say all the things that can't be said on big tech. All the links are in the description, just if you want to look at it and join us. We do things a little differently there. Some things are more intimate, more private too, and that's also something we enjoy, this interaction with you all. All in all, we're humbled. We're going into the fourth year. Well, hold on. 19, 20, 21, 22. We're going to the fifth year. Into the fifth year with the Inspired Tribe. It's absolutely amazing. And the truth is, and I'll say this always, I didn't magically come up with the idea for the Inspired channel and it was a great plan and we executed it. No, I came out of a meditation and God put this word into my head and said, start a channel, start a YouTube channel, call it Inspired. I'll guide you. This really would happen. And every day, if I choose to listen, there are some days where I choose to, I don't, I'm not as clear on this, or I don't open myself up to it properly. Then I think my thoughts are really the ones driving it. But for the most part, it's what God puts in front of us, me and Christine, and now a little team around us, that we do. That's what drives it. Not numbers, not money, none of that. It's really what God puts in front of us. It's often illogical, but it's always beautiful for us. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being with us. Thank you for allowing us to co-create together. And we have so much to live for. With so much to co-create together. It's such a beautiful future. It's such a beautiful potential. Because we're moving into a new way of thinking, new way of envisioning, and we're unleashing this together. And the future, I mean, it's unlimited of how good it can get. That's what I truly believe. That's what inspires me every day. So I want to thank you with much love today. Have a blessed rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Sending love to you and your loved ones, and we'll be back with you again very, very soon.